Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian, and today we're going to be talking about players that you can add to your fantasy team to help you win week 4 and future weeks as well. Before we get into it, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I would really appreciate the support. Without further ado, let's jump right into the week 4 schedule. Now, going into week 4, if you want to grab a player to stream, you're going to want to grab a player whose team plays quite a few times. You don't want to grab a player who only plays 1 or 2 games. Now, there are 4 teams like this that only play 1 or 2 games. Colorado Avalanche only play 1 game. The Anaheim Ducks, the Buffalo Sabres, and the Minnesota Wild all play 2 games. All other teams will play 3 or more games, barring cancellations. Now, next week, there are 4 nights of off nights, which means there are less games on those nights, and there are 3 teams that play on 2 or more of those off nights. Now, as you can see, on Monday, there are 6 games. On Wednesday, there are 2. On Friday, there's only 1. And on Sunday, there are 2 as well. Now, if you look closely at this graphic, you can see the Rangers play Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The Bruins play Wednesday and Friday, and the Leafs play Monday and Wednesday. It makes these 3 teams, as I mentioned earlier, a lot more valuable to stream. So it makes streaming someone like a Buchnevich, a Kako, a Craig Smith, a David Ritchie a lot more valuable this week. Without further ado, now let's jump into some forward options for your fantasy team. First on the list, guys, is Vincent Trocheck, Carolina Hurricanes, 45% owned. And to me, Trocheck's not just a streamer. He's getting top power play time with guys like Svechnikov, Aho. That's a really great player to have on your team. If you have room for a center, Trocheck might be a great add for you. Next on the list, guys, are Max Domi and Alexandre Texier, 42 and 14% owned. And I really like these guys right now because at the moment, they're getting top line time and top power play time with Patrick Laine. In their last game together, they each got an assist. So if they can keep that chemistry, they're both guys that are definitely worth adding to your team. Next is Connor Garland, also 45% owned, and he has 10 points in 10 games to start the year. And unlike in past seasons, he's getting a lot of power play time, and this guy likes to shoot the puck a lot. Connor Garland makes for an excellent add to your fantasy team. Next is Christian Dvorak, Arizona Coyotes, 40% owned. And this guy's on a tear right now. He's got 6 points, 5 goals through his last 3 games, and he's got 11 points in 10 games overall this season. I don't think that he's a long-term option, but if he stays hot like he is right now, Christian Dvorak is a pretty good short-term streamer. Next on the list, guys, is Dylan Strome, Chicago Blackhawks, 38% owned, and I've been repping him since the very beginning. He has 7 points through 12 games, which is decent, but he's getting that top line time and that top power play time, and Chicago's power play has looked really good. Dylan Strome is definitely a great add to your team if you need a centerman. Next is Jonathan Drouin, Montreal Canadiens, 35% owned, and he's having a sensational season skating alongside Nick Suzuki and Josh Anderson. He's also managed 9 points through 10 games, so Drouin is an excellent addition if you need a center or a left winger. The next 2 guys on this list are my must-adds of the video: Nick Ritchie, Boston Bruins, 29% owned, and Pavel Buchnevich, New York Rangers, 25% owned. The reason for this is they both have very favorable schedules with games on off nights, particularly Pavel Buchnevich, and Buchnevich is also playing on that top power play and that top line with Mika Zibanejad. As soon as Zibanejad starts heating up, Buchnevich is going to start producing like crazy. I absolutely love adding Buchnevich, not only for this coming week, but also for more of a long-term hold as well. Next on the list, guys, are 2 Florida Panthers, Carter Verhaeghe and Anthony Duclair, 25 and 24% owned. They're both skating on that top line with Alexander Barkov and are both performing really well so far. Florida has not played a lot of games, so here's a chance to grab someone who's going to get a lot more games in the future. Next is Tim Stützle, Ottawa Senators, 28% owned, and he's finally started to heat up. The reason for this? Well, Ottawa finally stuck him on their top power play, and he's looked really great. I think that gave him a lot of confidence, and he's been producing 5-on-5 as well. He's starting to look really good on the ice. He's definitely someone that you can consider picking up. Next on the list, guys, is Nick Schmaltz, Arizona Coyotes, 19% owned. And just like the other two guys on Arizona that I mentioned that are really hot right now, so is Schmaltz. So as long as these guys can stay hot, Schmaltz is an excellent streamer. Next is Jesse Puljujarvi, Edmonton Oilers, 18% owned, and I like streaming him because he plays Monday and Tuesday next week. So if you just want to get 2 quick games in at the beginning of the week and then swap him out for somebody else, he's a good player to do that with. He's currently playing alongside Connor McDavid, and after a few games of not looking that great, not really doing much alongside him, last game he finally managed to pot in 2 goals. So who knows, maybe he can keep that up and start producing for your fantasy team. The next 2 guys on this list are Kako, and Craig Smith, 14% and 10% owned. And again, the Rangers and the Bruins have a very favorable schedule this week, so both of these guys are excellent streamers. Kako is playing with Panarin right now, and Craig Smith is playing with Krejci and Ritchie, and he shoots the puck a lot, so he has a very safe floor. David Krejci is another guy that you can consider streaming for this week. All right, so let's jump into some defensemen. And first on the list, guys, is Matt Grzelcyk, Boston Bruins, 31% owned. And I know he's been injured for the last few games, but he should be back by Wednesday, and he should resume that spot on Boston's top power play, where he's managed 3 points in 5 games so far this season. Grzelcyk is an excellent streamer for this week, and he's a guy that you can keep on your team for sure because he will be playing Boston's top power play, and as long as he sticks there, he's a great player to have. Next on the list is Rasmus Andersson, Calgary Flames, 30% owned, and he continues to man the Flames' top power play. And as long as he's there, he has a lot of fantasy value. I highly suggest adding him to your team before he becomes well over 50% owned in the near future. Next is Philip Hronek, Detroit Red Wings, 28% owned. He's got 6 points through 12 games on an awful Detroit team. This guy's a real stud. If he was on any other team, he'd be doing a lot better. He's a great player, and as long as plus minus isn't a thing in your league, Hronek is an excellent addition. Next is Mattias Ekholm, Nashville Predators, 27% owned, and he's been a little bit underwhelming this year, but so has the entirety of the Nashville team. Mattias Ekholm should turn it around. He's been one of the most consistent defensemen over the last few years. Next is Alec Martinez, Vegas Golden Knights, 27% owned, and he currently is second in the league in block shots, and Vegas has played a lot less games than some other teams. Martinez is blocking an insane amount of shots. On top of that, he plays on Vegas' second power play and is getting a decent amount of points. As long as block shot is a category in your league, Martinez is a fantastic addition. Next is PK Subban, New Jersey Devils, 23% owned, and New Jersey is finally set to play again after missing the entirety of the last week because of coronavirus concerns. Now, Ty Smith and Damon Severson are both on the COVID protocol, and they both probably will not be ready for Tuesday. So what does that mean? Well, it means that Subban is going to be on that top New Jersey power play, so he has some pretty good short-term value until Severson and Ty Smith get back. Next is Noah Dobson, New York Islanders, 20% owned, and he is the defender to own on the Islanders right now. Pulock is playing on that second power play right now, so Dobson is actually more valuable than Ryan Pulock at the moment, especially in points leagues. I get that Dobson's numbers aren't eye-popping, but right now he's getting the best opportunities out of all the Islanders defensemen, and I think he's an excellent addition to your fantasy team as a guy you can keep probably the entire year as long as he does stay on that top unit. Next is Jonas Brodin, Minnesota Wild, 15% owned, and you can pick him up right before Minnesota's game on Thursday because all of their games have been postponed until Thursday. And Brodin is actually a really good short-term option because Dumba is injured and Spurgeon is on the COVID list. So who's left? Well, there's Suter and there's Brodin. So Brodin should be seeing even more power play time than he already is, and he's already performing pretty well. So right now, Brodin makes for an excellent addition to your team. Next on this list, guys, is Keandre Miller, New York Rangers, 7% owned, and I'm only including him on this list because the Rangers have such a great off-night schedule. Now, I would only take Keandre Miller if Buchnevich, if Kako, if Craig Smith, if these guys are already taken in your league. If the other guys are taken, then Keandre Miller is not a bad streamer by any means. Last but not least is Jordan Oesterle, Arizona Coyotes, 1% owned. And over the last couple of games, he's been seeing a lot of power play time. Goligoski is not on that power play anymore. It's Chychrun manning the top power play and Oesterle manning the second power play. And lately, that second power play has been seeing just about half the power play time. So Oesterle is actually a very sneaky grab right now if you want a guy that can put up some points. Jumping into some goaltenders, guys, and my first two goalies on the list are Jake Allen and Brian Elliott. Now, I wasn't super high on these guys to begin the season, but their starting goalies aren't performing as well as we thought they might, and these guys are getting a lot of games, more games than we thought they were going to get because of it. I thought Allen and Elliott were going to get 1 out of every 3 games, but lately it's looked more like 1 out of every 2 games. So as long as these guys stay hot, they're absolutely worth to grab right now if you're in a deeper league that need goaltender help. Next is Chris Driedger, Florida Panthers, 34% owned, and he's also been getting about half the games in Florida, way outplaying Sergei Bobrovsky, so he's definitely a guy that you want to add, especially if you are a Bobrovsky owner, because he may end up just taking the crease completely from Bobrovsky. Next is Linus Ullmark, Buffalo Sabres, 32% owned, and like I said last week, he's vastly outplayed Carter Hutton, and he secured that starter position in Buffalo. The next few goalies I'm going to mention, guys, are only players that I would pick up in the deepest of leagues. And first is Devin Dubnyk, San Jose Sharks, 22% owned. And lately, he's vastly outplayed Martin Jones, so he should be getting the bulk of the starts for San Jose. Next is Pekka Rinne, Nashville Predators, 16% owned. And he's also been playing a lot better than Saros lately, so he should be getting a lot more starts than we initially thought he might get at the beginning of the season. Nashville's not a great team, though, so he probably won't get that many wins. Next is Antti Raanta, Arizona Coyotes, 13% owned, and I wouldn't pick him up just yet. I know Kemper's been struggling, but we need to see Antti Raanta play really well on a more consistent basis to be able to say that, oh yeah, maybe he'll be the starter in Arizona, or maybe he'll split the games 50-50. We're going to have to see him do a little bit better first, but he's definitely a guy to keep an eye on, and that's why he's on this list. Last on this list is Cal Peterson, Los Angeles Kings, 9% owned, and he's looked a hell of a lot better than Jonathan Quick lately, so he should be getting at the very least half the starts, if not more than that. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Let me know how I can improve these videos. Until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.